What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of New Tool Tuesday. Now, sorry for last week. I was super busy. I wasn't able to get one out for you guys, but I have one for this week, and it should be really helpful for you. Now, the best part about today's video is that the tool that I'm going to be featuring is cheap, it's efficient, it works well, and it's under 10 bucks. Yes, you heard that right, it's under 10 bucks. So what am I doing today? I'm gonna be working on my Honda Accord again. So I'm gonna be doing a little bit of preventative maintenance on the Accord so that come wintertime, I don't really have to work on it. So it's been about 50,000 kilometers and about 2 years since I did the last transmission service on my Accord. So in today's video, I'm gonna be showing you how to do the whole thing, and I'm gonna be featuring that $10 tool that is a must to do this job. And it's super helpful because you can use the same thing when you're working on other components of the vehicle. So if you're doing a transmission service, if you're doing a differential service, or you just need to pump fluid from one area to another, this tool is going to help you get that done. So my Honda has over 200,000 kilometers on it, and it's been over 50,000 since the last time that I gave it a transmission service. So in today's video, I'm going to be taking all the old transmission fluid out from the transmission, and I'm going to be replacing it with new fluid. So I'm going to be using authentic and genuine Honda manual transmission fluid to get this done. So this fluid right here is the recommended stuff that you should put in your transmission if you have a Honda. If you can stick with the OEM stuff, regardless of the car, you're going to be in good hands because that fluid is made for your vehicle. Now what I found cool is that when I was looking through the service manual, you can actually use a 5W30 motor oil as a temporary solution should you need to fill up your transmission and you don't have the genuine transmission fluid that you need for your car. I thought that was kind of mind-boggling, but I'm not going to be using this. Just I thought it'd be a cool little thing to let you guys know about. But I'm going to be filling up my transmission with 2 liters of this stuff here. So I'm going to be taking 1.9 out, and I'm going to be filling it with 1.9. You can buy these things in 1 liter capacities. You're going to need a 1/2-inch ratchet or breaker bar to get this done, along with a 17 millimeter socket. Now that $10 tool that I'm going to be featuring is what I'm going to be using to transfer the fluid from these bottles to inside the transmission. And that tool is right here. It's a fluid pump, and this is made for 1 liter bottles that have the small opening like this. Now this tool right here will not work if you want to do a large bottle like this, but you can indeed purchase one that is of that size. And again, that's under $10. I'll be having links in the description box down below for links to both of those. I'm not going to need the gallon pump for something like this today. All I need is the one for the little quarts. So I'm gonna show you how to use this after I get the transmission ready for the new fluid. So step 1 is going to be getting the car elevated in the air so you can work underneath the vehicle. So I'm gonna be supporting the car with jack stands, and it's gonna be held on the pinch welds. After you have the front of the vehicle supported in the air with jack stands, what we then need to do is get the jack, bring it to the back side of the vehicle, and get it so that the vehicle is level. We need to have it so that the car is level so that we can empty all the fluid from the transmission. Now, if you have a hoist, you don't have to worry about this, but if you're working on the ground with jack stands and jacks, just like I am, that needs to be done. So from the back side of the car, if you have a jack, you can raise it from the rear and get it so that the car is completely level. For the next step, we have to get access to the transmission itself. So for the sake of this video, I removed the front wheel just to give you guys a better shot. But if you come into the engine bay, you'll be able to see that we have the transmission found on the right side and the engine found on the left. Now to get access to the fill and the drain bolts for the transmission, you can't get access to them from the engine bay. You have to go underneath the vehicle, and you'll be able to see that we have the drain bolt found there on the bottom with the fill bolt found right by it over there in the center of the screen. So what we're first going to do is remove and loosen up the fill bolt to make sure that we can put new fluid in, remove the crush washer, and then do the same thing for the drain bolt. So for the top, we're going to begin with a 17 millimeter socket to break that free. Removing that 17 millimeter fill bolt first is crucial so that you know that you can put new fluid into the transmission once you've removed all that fluid from it. So if you couldn't remove the fill bolt but you drained it all, you're kind of stuck in a pinch. So what I like doing is first removing that along with the crush washer, and then at that point you know for sure you can put more fluid into the tranny. Once you have the fill bolt removed, you can go down to the lower part of the transmission and remove the drain bolt for all the transmission fluid. You're going to let all of that drain out, and it should be 1.9 liters worth of fluid. So you're going to let that sit until it stops coming out. So we removed the old drain bolt and the old fill bolt along with the appropriate crush washers for each of them. So when we install everything, we're going to be installing the old bolts with the new crush washer. So these things here are going to compress, and these are what make a perfect seal up against the transmission. So we have the one right there for the fill and the other one here for the drain. So it's very important to put 2 new ones on whenever you guys are doing this procedure so that you ensure that you don't have any leaks. So before we get to that stage though, we need to pump the new fluid into the transmission. And we're gonna be using this little pump here to get that done. So you can see that we've got a small attachment up top. This is what screws into the top of the bottle. So if you grab our quart, we're gonna break this open, just take that off, and then this here will screw right over top of it. So you can feed it right into it like this. And then all that you do to get the fluid pumping and transfer it from the bottle to the transmission is push this down. Before we can pump the new fluid into the transmission, we need to go underneath the car, install our new drain plug with our new crush washer, and we need to torque that up to 29 foot-pounds. Now we can go underneath the transmission and feed the tube from our pump into the fill plug. Now you're gonna wanna pump this entire quart of fluid into the transmission, and then we're going to work on to the next bottle. After you're done with the first bottle, all you're doing is unscrewing this, put this in there in the meantime so that we can go to the next bottle, open this one up, and then transfer over the pump. So something to keep in mind is that the pump, no matter which pump you get, it isn't ever going to be able to pick up all of the fluid on the bottom of the empty bottles. So once you're done with pumping one, there's probably going to be a little bit of extra fluid found in the bottom of here. So if you pour it into the next one just like that, you won't be losing any extra oil. And then you can finish pumping this entire container into the transmission, which will give us our almost 2 liters of fluid. You're going to be pressing the pump a good 100 times to get all the fluid pumped into the transmission. So once you can see there's a little bit flowing out of the fill hole, what you're gonna do is stop pumping, grab your old fill plug, grab your new crush washer, hand tighten it up so that there's not gonna be any fluid coming out of it, and then finally torque it up to 33 foot-pounds. Clean up any oil that's fallen out of the transmission, and then the job is done. This job will easily cost you a couple $100 if you were to bring your car to a shop or even the dealership. If you guys don't have the fluid or you don't have the pump, don't worry, it's really easy to get this stuff and it's quite inexpensive. The biggest part of this job, cost-wise, is by far labor. So if you guys do all the labor yourself and you have all these tools, like the simple tools that I showed you in this video, you can get this done in an afternoon, no problem. Now I'll be using this exact same pump when I change out all the fluid on the Z. I'll also be using that same pump to get the stuff on the Mini done. So this pump is super handy, it's really cheap, and it comes in 2 different sizes. If you guys want to find out more information about the stuff that I used today in this video, you guys can find more information in the description box. If you guys have any other questions for that matter, comment section's down there. You guys know what to do. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.